Hey everybody out there, this is Seto, and today for you guys, we're going to be doing a profile for you of this awesome Spellbook deck. So he's running a new age version of the Spellbooks. We don't have, as of right now, the new Link Monster, but that usually works better with Dark Magician. But I hope you guys all enjoy his amazing sleeves of Spellbook of Prophecy. And he has some other good sleeves over here. I call him the Sleeve Master. So without further ado, I'll let the Sleeve Master take over with his amazing waifu sleeves.
Alright. To kick off the monster count, we're going to go ahead and get our 3 High Priestesses of Prophecy. Very important monster in the deck. She leads to a lot of different combos with Spellbook Starhall. Our next 3 monsters are Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. Pretty basic. Normal summon. It's a free +1. To round off our Prophecy count, it is Temperance of Prophecy and Justice of Prophecy. For my interesting tech cards, we've got a Astrograph Sorcerer at 3 and Chronograph Sorcerer at 2. Astrograph adds a lot of consistency to the deck. Whenever a Blue Boy is destroyed, you can special summon a 2500 beater and get another copy of Blue Boy to set up your next turn. It's pretty good. Chronograph Sorcerer lets you do some spicy synchro plays that I'll get into in a bit. Next, we've got a Dark Magician of Chaos and 2 copies of Silent Magician. Silent Magician is a pretty good card in Spellbooks. She gains 500 attack for every card in your hand. Spellbooks draw 2 cards a turn. It's possible to draw 6 even. So she's always going to be a pretty big beater, and she can negate spell activations once per turn. Our next card, or our last monster, is Effect Veiler. It's a tuner, it's a hand trap, and it's a spellcaster. Like it's super searchable, and it leads to a lot of different plays. That'll wrap up our monster count. And now we're going to our spells. 3 Spellbook of Secrets. It's a Spellbook deck, who would have thought? Next we've got 3 Spellbook of Knowledge. Knowledge is searchable. Some people only play 2 in Spellbooks. I like to play 3 because you can pitch your dead Spellbooks just for a free draw 2. It's too good. Next we've got Spellbook of the Master. You can copy your Spellbook of Knowledge, your Spellbook of Secrets, your Spellbooks of Eternity, which recover your banished Spellbooks. That'll cover it for normal spells. Next we've got our 2 field spells. The Grand Spellbook Tower. Grand Spellbook Tower is pretty much a necessity in any Spellbook deck. It lets you recycle them, it replaces itself with a monster when it's destroyed, and allows you to draw 2 cards a turn. Spellbook Starhall. Spellbook Starhall is an amazing card. Now that more decks are using a Spellbook engine, Spellbook Starhall actually doesn't specify who has to activate Spellbooks for it to get counters. So if they're using a small Spellbook engine, you'll actually get counters off of their plays. Spellbook Starhall also leads into a lot of different combos with High Priestess and Chronograph Sorcerer. Because when Spellbook Starhall is destroyed, you get to search a spellcaster. Next, we've got 2 copies of Spellbook of Fate. Searchable, non-targetable banishment. It's easily the best card in the deck. It's too good. It's always been good. Next, we've got 1 copy of Spellbook of Wisdom. Yeah, immunity spells or traps. Take your pick. Next, we've got a Spellbook of Power and Spellbook of Life. And that does it for the spell cards. And for our last 3 cards, traps. 2 Solemn Strike and 1 Torrential Tribute. Strike is a really good card, and Torrential is for board clears. Next we've got our extra deck. We've got 1 copy of Arcanite Magician, 1 copy of Tempest Magician, 1 copy of Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. We've got Omega, Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend, Stardust Dragon, Black Rose Dragon, Thought Ruler Archfiend, Hierophant of Prophecy, Ebon High Magician, Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon, Downward Magician, Ghost Trick Succubus, and Shining Elf. Shining Elf and Ghost Trick Succubus are just spellcasters that are Xyz monsters, so you can use your blue boys on the field to summon them. Ghost Trick Succubus is actually another really good card, because as she gets her power increased by the Spellbook Starhalls, you can destroy a monster whose attack is less than hers, and then lock your opponent out of that monster card zone. And that'll do it for our extra deck. Alright, so some basic plays. Most of your big plays are always off of High Priestess of Prophecy and a Spellbook Star Hall. Off of these 2 cards, because you can use Priestess's effect to banish a Spellbook and then destroy your own Spellbook Star Hall, assuming it has counters, which it should. You'll actually be able to get a search off of it. And because of that, since your card was destroyed, you can actually chain Chronograph Sorcerer. And what you would want to do is chain Link 1, chain Link 2, so this resolves first. This will allow you to search out Effect Veiler, your tuner. And then once you summon Chronograph Sorcerer, he'll actually special summon that newly searched Effect Veiler from your hand. And then you can go into Black Rose Dragon. If you have a blue boy on the field, you can go into Trishula. With High Priestess and Effect Veiler, you can also go into your Omegas and all of your level 8s. Another good card to play in this deck would actually be Knight's End Sorcerer. Because he's a level 2 spellcaster, still easily searchable. And when he hits the board, you'd be able to banish 2 cards from your opponent's graveyard. And then you wouldn't actually have to get rid of your High Priestess to synchro summon level 8s.
I give it good luck.
Next key card would be Astrograph Sorcerer. Basically, whenever one of your cards is destroyed, one of your monsters, I should say, he'll hit the board as a 2500 beater and search you another copy of that card. So cards that are harder to search, like your High Priestess of Prophecy, your Silent Magician, you can get those other copies and set up your next turn.
And you were mentioning to me earlier how, like, the Silent Magician was working well because you need hand advantage to use it.
Exactly.
And spellbooks can gain so much hand advantage that they're perfectly fine using this card. So
Exactly.
it works out perfectly for you, right? I'm guessing?
Yeah. And it gets that 500 attack point blue boy off the board, so, and replaces it with a
With a big,
yeah,
like a bigger beater. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So how often do you usually bring it out? Like, does it usually win games against certain matchups?
Silent Magician?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. It completely shuts cards down. Her effect isn't a hard once per turn, so if you get both Silent Magicians, you get to lock them out of 2 spells a turn.
Nice.
Some interesting side deck cards I have, I didn't actually bring the side deck with me. Sage of Silence, a really old card from Storm of Ragnarok. Whenever she destroys a card, your opponent can't activate spells for the duration of the next turn. So you'll summon her, you'll activate Spellbook of Power, get her to 2400, destroy something, search a Spellbook of Power, lock them out of spells, and then you can actually loop that with Tower and Power.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's like really good. That's awesome. Well, continue on, man. Go ahead.
That'll actually do it for most of the big combos. Everything else is generic Spellbook
Pretty
play.
generic.
Yeah.
So what do you usually run for your side deck normally?
Side deck, I've got Sages of Silence.
What does the effect say on that card? I'm just wondering. Like off the top of my head, I forget it.
Sages of Silence. Oh, that was the one I just mentioned.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I do have the one Knight's End Sorcerer. He doesn't always come in handy. He's the level 2 tuner spellcaster. When he special summon, he banishes 2 cards from
The
your
one that
opponent's
they
grave.
used for in Dark Magician for the blue eyes little things. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, he lets you go into your level 8 synchros without getting rid of your High Priestess, which normally you wouldn't want to do. So that's also really good. But usually you only run him if you're playing against something that cares about cards in the graveyard.
I gotcha. That's cool. Now, I don't know if you mentioned it or not, but the Shining Elf and the Succubus, because I love spellbooks and one of my friends loves it too, but what was with the Succubus? Like how often, like what were the 2 materials for? Off the top of my head, the blue boys?
Oh, it was just blue boys.
Blue boys?
Yeah, on the off chance that you had them on the field, or if since spellbooks have always had a really great grind game, if the duel had gone long enough and you had 2 blue boys and they were at like, I don't know, 4,500 because you were just racking up spell counters on your star halls.
So then she gets the big attack and then you can make it.
Yeah, you can summon Succubus, you can pop basically any card in the game and then lock them out of that monster card zone. I'm not actually sure if she works with the extra monster card zone, but if she does, that'd be pretty busted.
But it still works either way.
Yeah.
And then the Shining Elf, can you explain that just quickly?
Shining Elf is just another level 2, rank 2. You probably won't go into him.
I know he came back like in the early part of the Zexor era, but what is his effect again for those that forget?
He's like a miniature Slifer the Sky Dragon. When a monster hits the board, you can detach material and weaken it by 500 attack.
Really?
Yeah. It's not very useful, but he's a spellcaster and he's stronger than two
And then
500
if you're
attack.
racking up stall halls and you know
Yeah.
things like that count.
He'll
that
get
makes
pretty
sense.
strong too. And then during main phase 2, you'd be able to go into downer.
Into
magician.
downer. Okay, that makes perfect sense. Well, thank you very much, man. I know people out there love spellbooks. Now, just be quickly before I wrap up here. I know the new Link monster was kind of underwhelming. It helps Dark Magician more, but
Yeah.
is there any way you would incorporate that when it does come out over here to the TCG with this deck?
I'll definitely find a way to make it work. I've been playing Spellbook since they were meta. I use that word. Yeah.
Yeah,
Meta.
you're fine. I mean, so you're playing. So was this before Dragon Ruler format or after Dragon?
I was playing them in Dragon Ruler format.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mr. Judgment over here.
Yeah. Chronograph Sorcerer, since he lets you special summon another spellcaster from hand, or honestly just another monster, he should let you go into the Link monster relatively easily.
Makes sense.
And that's another free spellbook.
I got you. Well, thank you so much, man, and hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. I found his deck profile very interesting. That's why I was asking a bunch of questions there at the end, in case you guys were wondering as well. But till next time, guys, take care, have fun dueling, good luck dueling, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you, man.
Yep.